and I got a final mark of 94%. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can get a distinction in English using ChatGPT. So if you're in grade 10, grade 11, or grade 12, this video is for you. Because if you're just like me, back in high school, English used to be one of my worst subjects. No matter how hard I try, well, I didn't try because English was one of those subjects like LO, whereby you figure it out when you get to the test or exam. But I always played around 60%, 65%, all the way up to 70% if I really did well. It was up until matric whereby I started taking English seriously and I got a final mark of 94%. So I'm going to be teaching you how you can best utilize AI to ensure that you also get a distinction in English. So we're going to jump to my screen whereby I'm going to show you. I don't want to waste any of your time, but before we jump to my screen, make sure that you click that like button, you subscribe to the channel, join the community, because the goal is to get to 10k subscribers by the end of April, and let's grow together. Let's be top performing students together. So to get a distinction in English, you have to master the concepts and their testing style. And once you master the concept and their testing style, it will be easier for you to answer exam questions. And also when you read a question, you can know what's required of you so that you answer it appropriately. So here I have two prompts, one for paper 1 and another one for paper 2. I have them in the description. You don't need to buy them or sign up or all those kind of things. You can just click in the link and then you'll see this Google document. You can copy the prompt and put it into ChatGPT. So basically it says I'm a grade 12 learner. If you're not in grade 12, you can change this grade 12 to grade 11 or grade 10. And I'm doing the NSC curriculum. So if you're doing IEP, you can change this to IEP. And I want you to be my study partner for English. And then after copying that prompt, it will tell you, okay, cool, I'm happy to be your study partner. What we'll do is we'll break down everything. I'll mark your work like a strict examiner, and I will teach you until you master every section, right? And we'll be focusing specifically on NSC English paper 1. And your mission is to master paper 1 and get 100%. Paper 1 sections is section A, your comprehension, which is 30 marks, section B, summary, which is 10 marks, and section C, which is language, and it's 20 marks, right? And how will work? You tell me which section you want to practice, whether A, B, or C. I'll give you more questions, real plus adjusted past paper style. You'll send me your answers. I'll mark, score, and give you clear, honest feedback. I'll explain everything you don't understand until it clicks. We repeat and refine until you are a paper 1 machine. Tell me which section you want to practice, and I tell it, okay, cool, I want to practice section A first. And then it tells me, okay, cool, here's a comprehension, here's a short passage, and here are the questions that you need to answer. And I go and answer the questions, right? And what's nice about this is you can literally practice English now when you're in your bed. If you feel like you're lazy and you want to procrastinate, instead of going to WhatsApp and texting your friends, talking about things that are not going to help you to get distinctions in matric or in grade 11 or in grade 10 that are going to guarantee you to go to any university of your choice. Now, what you can do is you can just chat with ChatGPT while you're practicing English in a fun way, right? While you're sitting in your bed and you're just using ChatGPT. And what's nice is ChatGPT is free. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to do anything. You can use the free version and you can be able to learn from it. So it marked question 1 to 4 because I only gave it answers for question 1 to 4, and it gives you a score for each of the questions or your answers, and it also gives you feedback and an improved answer that you can look at, right? After it marks, it gives me the final mark, and it breaks down for me which questions I got wrong, which ones I got correct, and it gives me overall feedback. And the nice thing is I can ask it further questions if there's something I don't understand. But for number 7, is a synonym not supposed to be just one word? And it answers for me. Great question, and you're absolutely right to ask. Yes, a synonym is often just one word, but here's the key for NSC comprehension questions. In the NSC exam, when they say give a synonym for the word transformed in context, they are not just testing for vocab, they testing your understanding of the passage and your ability to replace the word in that sentence without changing the meaning. And it gives you, or it shows you why your answer wouldn't work and what you should have done, right? Basically, it gives you tips, game plans on this is how you can approach this type of questions going forward. And it also asks you, do you want to try out a few more synonym or context practice questions like this to sharpen the skill? And you can say yes, and it's going to give you like multiple questions on synonyms in context, and you can just practice and then see if you master them. And once you've mastered them, you can move on to practicing another thing. And I go, okay, cool, let's go to the summary section B. It gives me a passage, it says I must summarize it, and I ask why these passages seem to be shorter than the actual NSC passages. Great observation, right? And it tells you that here we're still working on the skill, right? Focusing on mastering the technique while I'm giving you immediate feedback. And then once you've mastered the process, we'll then move to longer exam texts with multiple ideas, complex structures, tricky vocab, right? And think of it like this. You wouldn't start soccer training with a full match. You'd start with passing trails, ball control, and positioning. Same here. We build your skill, then taste it under exam pressure. So, and I said, okay, cool. Let's start with section C. And it asked me a couple of questions in section C, and I gave it a response, and it marked for me and it explained for me. So if I don't understand this passive voice thing, I can say explain further on this passive voice thing. And we're just gonna go to paper 2. Same thing with paper 2. I just paste and copy that prompt, and you will say I'm ready to get started, and I'll say, okay, let's start with Sonnet 18 by Shakespeare, right? So I remember one of the poems we did in grade 12 was Shakespeare, Sonnet 18, and it will give me some sort of like questions to answer, and depending on how I answer them, it's going to give me feedback and explain to me a bit further. And I'm sure you can also say break down Sonnet 18 for me in its entirety, right? I just want a breakdown of Sonnet 18 in its entirety. And it's going to give me a line-by-line breakdown. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Meaning, should I compare you to a beautiful summer day? This is a rhetorical question that starts the poem with admiration, right? And then it gives you the key themes. It gives you the poetic devices like metaphor, your personification, your turning point, and simplified summary, right? And you can ask it further questions depending on what you've been asked in your class test or in your homeworks and all those kind of things, just to explain what Sonnet 18 is. Or if you want to do another piece of literature, whether it's a short story or stuff like that, you can just say, give me a summary of this thing, and after they analyze it for me, ask it questions just to learn. But the key thing, general tips, is I put them here on this document, is use ChatGPT to master the concepts and also break down literature for you, right? So use ChatGPT just like a teacher that will help you master the concepts and also break down the literature, a teacher or a tutor. But you still need to practice exam questions under exam conditions, meaning that you sit down, you take an entire paper, you set the timer, and you do it under exam pressure. And by doing that, you sharpening your skill and you're becoming more confident in answering exam questions. ChatGPT to master the concepts and also know how to answer the questions, and do exam questions under exam conditions to be more confident and familiar with exam type of questioning. And you always consult your teacher if there's anything that's unclear, right? Don't just rely on ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT or AI as a tool, but also make sure that you still do the other work of consulting your teacher if you don't understand something in ChatGPT, right? So this is how you can use ChatGPT to get a distinction in English. Didn't include paper 3 because paper 3 is long form writing, which is usually messy. So what you can do with long form writing is you can basically try writing whatever, answering past question papers, write that essay, write that letter, and then take it to your teacher and say, just read it for me and give me a comment on where I should improve, where I shouldn't improve. Because if you try to type it down on ChatGPT, you're basically wasting your time in a way, because with paper 3 I advise you to still use the traditional ways of mastering it. Practice it, go to the teacher and say, please help me improve here, until you master the concept. So make sure that you like this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure that you drop a comment and let me know if you're going to try this trick out. And also, if you have any topic suggestions, make sure that you drop it down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to join the community. Remember, we're trying to be top performing individuals, not only in school but in all areas of life. So make sure that you snap that subscribe button, join the community, and let's grow together. Thank you. Cheers.